Hi, my name is Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to the last podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time listening and finding the channel, hey, welcome. I'm happy you have. And if you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Well, today is Monday and it is kind of late, and I really wanted to get this podcast out. But sometimes when it's not the only thing that you do, you actually have more pressing opportunities or business that you need to tend to. But I love my podcast, and I wanted to really talk about something that is really serious. And then we're coming so close to the end of the year. I really want to get a lot of stuff packed in here during the next couple of podcasts. So this what I'm going to talk about today. Have you ever had a regret? Have you ever decided, oh wow, if I would have did this, only if I would have did that. Say it could have been a small regret, small or big, doesn't matter. But today I want to talk about how to move from regret into opportunity. Some people live without regrets, and that's really amazing. I wish I was one of them. But on the flip side of that coin, there are many people who have regrets, whether they're minor, small, or big. If you ever had a regret, I want to show you how you can take and move or look at regret from a different perspective and see it through the lens of new opportunity. So when we have, I would say, regret, it's basically an emotion, right? It's pain. It's lessons that we've learned or maybe not learned. And some people don't learn lessons, and the opportunities that come with it. Regret, in my opinion, is a universal emotion. Everyone, I believe, experiences some type of regret, whether small or big. It might stem from like a missed opportunity, mistakes, or choices that led to unintended consequences. While regret often feels heavy and unpleasant, it's more than just a negative emotion, in my opinion. It has power to teach us, shape our future decisions, and even open doors to new opportunities. So, before I go any further, I want to talk briefly about the dark side of regret. And that is the emotional burden that's attached to that regret, which is not the good part of regret. Regret is profound. It's an emotion. I would say it's not only profound, it's, in my opinion, it's an emotion, right? We've experienced that rise when we are perceived, and I'm going to give you an example in a minute. Our past decisions, whether it be actions or even inactions, our mistakes. While regret is a common part of a human experience, its emotional burden can be immense, often lingering in ways that affect our mental health, our relationships, and our overall being. I've had regret, and believe me when I tell you, there are a lot of times in my life where I've made decisions that I really wish I would have did this. I really wish I would have did that. I wonder what would have happened if I would have been here. And I'll give you one of those regrets. At one point, I wanted to go into the Navy, and then I found out that I was going to be a father, and I chose not to go. And that was just where my head was. I wasn't in the right headspace, and I'll be honest about that. I didn't have a lot of people in my life at that time who was there to guide me and help me make better decisions and choices. But that's okay. We learn to live with those choices that we make. So I think in this podcast, what I want to do is talk about the manifestations and strategies for managing our impact with regret. Regret stems from that recognition that an alternative choice could have led to a better outcome. Like, I wish maybe I would have went into the Navy, and maybe I should, I was thinking on maybe if I would have went in, I would have had a better life. I don't know that. But where I ended up now, you'll be surprised that I'm happy I went through a lot of hardship and that I'm able to go through life and say now, I am happy where I'm at. There is a couple of improvements, a couple of tweaks that I will make, but I'm still happy. And I found peace. And I think maybe, I don't know if I would have found peace earlier or if I was to go into service and never found peace or even be living. So I don't know, but I'm not going to worry about that or dwell on things that I should have done or could have done. So I am talking about the regret that we have. Maybe there is something that you say, maybe I'm not going to do right now, or I can't do, or I won't do, or maybe it's time to look at if it was something that was a positive regret, meaning, and what do you mean by positive regret? It's something that was a positive thing that you said, well, I'm going to go for this job, but then decided not to. Maybe you can do something better than that job. Maybe you can take what you've done and look at the regret. Is it a regret because you're not in a better place having not taken that job? Or are you in a better place having not taken that job? So there are a lot of ways that we can look at this. And I believe it comes down to your perspective of how you look at your regret. It can be triggered in various situations, missed opportunities, failing to seize chances, and that's like a job offer, right? Neglecting to express feelings to someone and you let a loved one get away or someone you wanted to love get away. Maybe it's not too late. I'm talking about those regrets where you can make good on, a missed opportunity. Then that might be an opportunity to do something about it. Someone that you wish you would have spoken to. Maybe there's still an opportunity to become friends, and then one day, maybe more than friends. I'm talking about taking a chance to say, my regret might be an opportunity to springboard forward to make things a whole lot better for myself and for the people that are around me, that's in my life. Making choices that lead to negative outcomes, such as a poor financial decision or strained relationships. Those are regrets too, right? Moral lapses, acting against one's value, causing harm to one self or others. That might be something else. But emotional regret takes a toll on you. It often brings a sense of guilt over perceived mistakes. If the regret involves moral wrongdoing, shame may follow, creating a deeper emotional wound and diminish the sense of self-worth, right? Many individuals caught in regret engaged in repeatedly replaying the event over and over in their minds, obsessing over what could have been or what could they have done differently. And I'm going to tell you something too. Even when people pass, and when they pass, you often go through that even in grief. I wonder if I would have loved her more or said I love you more or been there for her more. I wonder if I would have did this, I did that. It's no need to do all of that. Even though it's natural, we go through it. That regret is linked to depression, anxiety, and stress, the emotional weight. And that's the dark side of regret. It can disrupt our sleep, concentration, the ability to enjoy life in the present moments. And not only that, the dark side of regret can also affect how people interact with others. For instance, unresolved regret over past actions might lead to avoidance or withdrawal or hindering intimacy and a connection. So, do you have regret in your life? I'm asking, can you see an opportunity to make things better? So, while regret is often painful, excuse me, it also holds transformative potential. And that's the good part of regret, turning your regret into an opportunity. I'm losing my voice and I don't know why. So forgive me. So that is basically what we're talking about. It can be painful, but it also holds transformative potential for you to change your life. It can serve as a guidepost, highlighting what matters most to us and motivating personal growth. Recognizing this duality can help reframe regret as a tool for self-improvement rather than a source of self-punishment. Regret, let's turn that into opportunity. So I want to really talk about remodeling regret. This is where regret meets the opportunity. I'm going to say regret is an information by which we can extrapolate past lessons to help avoid future landmines. Basically, we don't want to make the same mistakes over, right? Here's an opportunity we can take to heed, right? Why? It's critical to write down all our mistakes that we've made in the past. And I want you to learn from this. The only way that we can actually seriously learn from past mistakes, because, and I'm going to stop for a moment here, because think about it. And I'm going to say this because I don't really have a real good memory. And if you've been listening to any of my podcasts, you know that I talked about I used to perform on stage with poetry. But once I started forgetting my lines, I stopped. And that's because I have sleep apnea. So it prevents me from remembering in the moment. So a lot of things with sleep apnea I go through. However, not just sleep apnea. People, when they get older, they tend to forget a little bit more. Now, when we were younger, sure, I can remember 25 poems and recite all of them to you. However, our memory, once we start getting older, it starts slipping. So in order for us to recollect or rehash, remember, or recall, we should always write down. And if you don't write anything down, you should start writing things down. You should write down what's happening to you daily, how you feeling daily, what you've gone through daily, and the lessons. Because why I say that is it's critical to write down all your mistakes. I don't know about you, but my memory has failed me many times, right? So there's an old quote, right? For repeating past mistakes. If you probably already heard it. If you haven't heard it, here it is. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So if you're not writing down lessons, things and experiences that has happened to you that was unpleasant, you might be doomed to experience them over and over. And then guess what? You might be on a hamster wheel saying, I don't know, this is always happening to me. I don't know why this is always happening to me. That's because you are not writing things down. You don't write in your journal, a daily journal, and then look at it. Because here's the important part of writing a daily journal. You can extrapolate all the lessons from the experiences so you do not have to repeat those mistakes. You know, I was one of those people who kept making mistake after mistake over and over and over because I was pig-headed and think that I didn't have to write this stuff down. But I realize it's time to start writing things down. In life, some people say, why does this keep happening to me? Or they may always happen, or I would say They may take a step forward and say, every time I take a step forward, something happens and knocks me 2 steps backward. I've heard people say that before. That's because we don't write stuff down. Is it fate? Is what you think all the time? So, as a person think, so are they. If you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. So if you don't write stuff down, guess what? You are condemned to repeating the same actions over and over in your life. So are you one of those people where things just constantly happen over and over to you? Or do you want to take your regret to the next level and turn it into new opportunities? Start writing down your past mistakes to avoid them in your future. Look at regret as a flashlight shining light on something that is wrong, and you have an opportunity to correct it. So regret can fuel your pull for motivation to make changes in your life. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were in your 20s and you had a plan to go to college, take up what you believe was going to lead you to the dream career of your life, right? But life got in the way. You wind up with kids. Now you have to shift your focus, basically, and you got to start taking care of your family. Years go by and you feel, wow, you've wasted a lot of years. Now you might feel it's too late to even go to college or pursue your dream. But what if you took your dream back out and said, let me view this in a different perspective? What if I can get a certificate in the field that I want to get me that much closer to doing the things that I want to do, to get me that much closer to the dream I once had? Turn your regret into an opportunity to change your circumstances by taking courses online, learning something new, or get closer to your dreams. Your circumstance don't have to be your reality for life. You can make changes, and you can start today. Turn your regret into an opportunity. Turn your regret into the fuel to motivate you to better your life, to better yourself, and to better your loved ones around you. Be an example. Throughout all the opposition, you can surmount your difficulties and come out on top. That's what we're talking about, turning regret into opportunity. I hope this was a little food for thought for you. My name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast. If you have something that you want me to talk about, hey, do me a favor and hit me up at thelastpodcast443@gmail.com. Or if you even just want to reach out to me and say anything to me, you can also reach out to me at thelastpodcast443@gmail.com. Hey, listen, I'm going to have some good material coming up pretty soon, and I hope you come back and listen, because it's going to help you transform your life into a good life for 2025. I'm going to do it, and I hope you join me into making it the best year ever. The best is yet to come for you, and I know that. The best is yet to come for all of us. We just got to believe. We just got to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are meant for great things. Hey, hit me up at thelastpodcast443@gmail.com and tell your family and friends about this podcast. And do me a favor, like and subscribe. I can really use the subscribers, y'all. So I know there are a lot of people listening, I can tell. And I don't know who you are, but do me a favor, subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a blessed day, or a blessed night, I should say. And I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Bye-bye.